Hello to all you college students out there. I know some of you guys are really overwhelmed, particularly you freshmen, you sophomores, and some of you high school students as well, as far as how to handle the syllabus and the calendar of assignments for all of your classes and not miss a single thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you some techniques as to what I would do in one of the classes that I teach at the University of South Carolina that may be able to help you. USC Lancaster, I beg your pardon. If you want more information on that, links in the description below. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and the first thing I am going to pull out, all right, for the syllabus is the actual calendar of assignments. Or excuse me, is the syllabus itself, particularly, hang on, gotta dance around with Zoom a little bit. There we go. All right, particularly with the grade breakdown. Okay, this is where I would start, and this is where you would kind of prioritize. So the bigger stuff, the stuff that counts the most, like for me, it would be the independent content reports. That's the like 30% of the grade. And the written test, which is 35% of the grade. This particular class is an online asynchronous class. There I would know that those are, number one, where my focus needs to be the highest, and number two, I know that there are big projects or test long-term stuff that I have to plan in advance for, okay? All right, and then the other stuff, if it doesn't count as much, I want to make sure to do it, but if there's, something that is pressing in another class, then what I'm going to do is put the bulk of my efforts for this class into the stuff that counts the most. And if something has to slough off because I have a huge midterm that I've got to study for that's for my major, I'm going to concentrate more on that and get the assignment done here for this class that doesn't count as much, but knowing that I may have to take a hit for that particular assignment that isn't as big. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I know that the big stuff, I'm going to go ahead and highlight in bold red when I go to my calendar, and in the other stuff that's not as important, I'm gonna put in like yellow highlights, or I'm gonna have an indication of something that's a little bit less important. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna stop share here. Now I'm gonna show you the calendar of assignments as to where we are thus far. Okay. All right. So here is the calendar of assignments for the online class that I am teaching, or one of them, and starting with today's date, November 10th, 2020. Okay, so I have a code up top. Okay, the red text or the red highlighted text, that's required for a grade. The yellow highlighted text means that it's required, it's not graded, but I need the yellow stuff for something that's graded. Okay, so if you do a calendar, you can use different color highlighters, or if you put everything in on the calendar of your iPhone or your smartphone, which I tend to do and set up alerts, you can also change the color and prioritize things there. Long-term assignments, if you're doing it on your phone, I would suggest setting up alerts 2 weeks before, 3 days before, and then the morning of, okay? And that way you constantly process in your mind, oh, I've got this due, I've got this due, I've got this due. So then you're more motivated to do a little bit of that big assignment at a time, or study a little bit for that exam or whatnot at a time, so you're not pulling an all-nighter, okay? Particularly an all-nighter for lots of different subjects. That's a pain in the keister. Okay, so if you have your smartphone, you can use that, or if you are a bigger fan of an actual paper planner or a paper calendar, you can use this method. Now, for the purposes of this video, I kind of hijacked a calendar, a free online calendar that I can put in Microsoft Word, Okay, so link in the description below as to where I found that. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get out that calendar. So I'm going to stop share. Okay. All righty. Share this. Okay. All right. So here is the calendar. Okay. And this is for the month of November. Okay. Now I'm going to set the font to the smallest font possible when I put things in this particular calendar. Okay. If you have a smartphone or an iPhone, it's just going to have one font. So you're going to get what you're going to get. Okay. And so I'm going to lower this. Actually, there's some tricks on the smartphone that I'll show you in a second. Ah, rats. Darn. All right, going back to my calendar of assignments. Okay, so now I'm going to plug stuff into this calendar, or if you're on your smartphone, you can plug it into your smartphone calendar as well. All right, the top priority is the stuff that's in bold red. So I'm going to put that in my calendar where it is, let's see, when it is due. Okay, so say for example, the first bold red thing, the big grade thing, is written test 5 and listening test 5 for this particular class, which is due at 5 o'clock on 11/24/2020. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that. Okay, right click it and copy it, and then I'm going to paste it on the my calendar, my Word calendar that I got. So I'm going to go here, go back to my Word calendar. Okay, and I'm going to scroll down to the 24th. Okay, all right, and I'm going to go up to the top left-hand corner, and I'm going to change the font size to 8. Yeah, you got to squint, but you're going to be able to fit in a lot more, and you can always blow it up by, if you're on your computer, you can use this plus thing, all right, and you can blow the calendar up so it's bigger, or reduce the size of it, which I just did. Okay. Oops. Come on. All right. So I'm going to go back to my calendar. All right. Click on the 24th, and then I'm going to right click. All right. Do a paste. And there you go. And I'm going to highlight that, and I am going to boldface spread it, just like it is on the calendar of assignments. So when I look at my schedule, I look at my schedule a month in advance, a week in advance, and the next day, every morning and each night. So nothing sneaks up on me, or less sneaks up on me, shall we say. Okay, so let's look at something else. All right, so let's go back and let's look at our calendar of assignments again. Okay, remember, you want to hit the big grade stuff first when you cut and paste it into the actual calendar. Okay, now we got another red biggie. Okay, that's the final draft of ICR2 due at 5 p.m. on 12/3/2020. Okay, the bold red for me is a long-term assignment, and what a lot of students do is, if they don't have their syllabus color-coded like this, they'll take highlighters, take their syllabus, and they will boldface in one color the stuff that is long-term or has the most grade weight, and then in another color they'll boldface the stuff that is required but doesn't count as much. You guys get where this is going, right? They'll color code everything, and then when they plug it into their calendar, whether it's a Word calendar like I'm doing, or in a plain calendar like on a planner, or in their smartphone, they'll use different colors. Okay, more on the smartphone in a second. All right, so final draft of ICR. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that. Okay, going to copy that. All right, and stop share. I'm going to go back to my calendar, my free calendar that I hijacked online. Okay, and that's right, I only have it for the month of, I only got a calendar for the month of November, but you guys get the point of where that's going, okay? All right, so after you put in the big weighted grade stuff, all right, and the long-term projects, okay, you do this for the entire semester. The next thing you do is you look for the secondary stuff, the stuff that's required, and it's for grade, but doesn't have the same kind of weight, okay? So I'm gonna stop share, and I am going to get back out the calendar of assignments. Share, okay, all right. So if I'm looking at bold red text, but it's not highlighted in as deep a red, okay? So that tells me that this assignment is required, it's for a grade, but it doesn't have as much grade weight as the long-term projects or the tests, okay? So what I'm gonna do is that's due on 11/12/2020, this particular quiz, Unit 5 class lecture note quiz, pages 1 through 5. Come on. All right, so I am going to highlight that and copy that, okay? And then I'm going to go back to the calendar. Share screen. I'll get rid of that. Share. Okay, so that assignment is due on the 12th. Okay, so again, I'm going to go up to the top left-hand side, change the font to 8. You always want to go the smallest. All right, and okay, all right, change that to 8-point font. All right, now I'm going to click that in there. And since this assignment is not as important and doesn't carry as much weight as the written tests, I'm going to choose a different color, or if you're writing in a planner, you can choose a different color ink pen. I'm going to go ahead and put orange. Okay, so the orange in my calendar is stuff that's required as for a grade, but it doesn't carry as much weight. The red stuff, that's a long-term project or a big graded item. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. Okay, paying bills or things like that, you can put that in there too. Okay, all right, so that's how I would organize my stuff. Now I'm going to stop share, and I'm going to pull out my phone right here. Okay. All right, so if you go to your iPhone, okay, hopefully you'll be able to see at least a little bit of my screen. Okay, you have on your iPhone or your smartphone, you have a calendar for the month, and you have a day at a glance. Okay, and you have a week at a week at a glance. Okay, the same thing you would as with a planner. All right. So again, you want to check your schedule, month, week, day, in the morning and in the evening, okay? All right, so what I would do here is also in your iPhone, okay, when you schedule an event, all right? Let's say you're going to put in written test 5 and listening test 5, okay? All right, so you're going to put that in. Now, when you put that in, okay, most calendars, okay, so you're going to plug the event in. Most calendars are going to have a color code, all right? So if you look on my phone where it says calendar, you click that, okay? And it'll give you a choice. It'll say calendar, home, or work, okay? And it has 3 different colors to it. So if you would like to color code stuff, okay, the work for me, that's purple. That would be the stuff that is graded and is really, 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 really important. I'm going to put that in purple. That's work. That's got to be done, non-negotiable. Okay. And it's something that I know I have to plan for because it is a big, 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 big thing, a big project. Okay. Then the next category is home. That's kind of like a greenish, bluish type dot on my phone. Okay. And that for me would be the projects that are required, but they don't carry as much weight as the tests or the papers or the midterms, etc. Okay. And then for calendar, for me, that's my personal life. Okay. So especially things that can be they're important, but if I have to postpone them a day or two and change the date, I can. I have a little bit more flexibility of those, okay? All right, so if you can color code as to what's the most important and what's least important, you can prioritize a little better. Now, okay, on your phones, you have something called alerts, okay? So what I would do is I would set alerts for big projects 2 weeks in advance, and then a week in advance, and then an alert the night before, either the night before or the morning of, okay? And what I would do for that long-term project, all right, each week I'd sit down, I'd look at what I have to do for the month and for the week, and I would plan to do a little bit of that big project each night or each weekend, okay, depending upon your schedule, and then you won't be as overwhelmed as the deadline approaches closer, okay? And that's really anything in life too, okay? All right, so share my screen again. All right, let me just show you the website where I got this, the calendar rather, okay? I got this on, let me go down a little bit so you all can see the date, on calendarlabs.com. You can do that, or if you guys have a Chromebook, you can plug things into your Google Calendar, and there you can manipulate the colors, the fonts, etc., like I did in Microsoft Word. Google lets you do that. Hotmail also has a free calendar that you can also use that's set up very similar to Microsoft Word. You can do that. Gmail has the same thing. Yahoo, I don't know. I haven't used that. Apple calendars on Mac Pro or Mac computers, they're set up the same way as an iPhone. Okay, so if you can work your way around an iPhone, you can work your way around a calendar on a Mac device, okay? Acer is Microsoft Word, and I believe that's going to be a similar program to what you would find on a normal PC, okay? All right, so stop share. Okay, so to review, all right, step number 1. Take all of your syllabi from every single class and look at the weighted grade, okay? Highlight the stuff that is big projects, big tests, and requires a lot of advanced work. Highlight that in one color, okay? And then find the secondary projects, okay? The stuff that's required but doesn't have as high of a weight of grade. Highlight that in a different color, all right? And then the third thing, you use another color to highlight stuff that, yes, it's important, but if I have to postpone it a day or two, it's not going to kill me. I have that flexibility. And you're going to want to have color codes for your calendars, whether it is in an iPhone or a planner or a calendar associated with your email account, your Blackboard account, whatever you use for school or for work, okay? That's step 1. Step 2 is you are going to put the importance, the big project stuff, the absolutely, you got to get this done stuff in your calendar, whatever it is, first, okay? You're going to set up alerts for, if it's in your phone, for 2 weeks before, 1 week before, and either the night before or the morning of, okay? That's step 3. All right. Step 4 is whatever calendar you choose to use, be sure you look at that calendar for the month, for the week, and for the next day, in the morning and in the evening before you go to bed. Make it a habit, make it a priority, like when you're drinking coffee or when you're getting your clothes out for the next morning. Be sure you do that, okay? And if you follow those tips, you're going to find that your life is much more organized and that you can balance work and school and kids and bills and other things in life much, much better, and you're going to be a lot less stressed. Okay? So I hope this is helpful to all of you college students and all of you high school students. If you would like to contact me as far as Zoom music lessons, my information is in the description below. If you would like to know more about USCL, I also have that link below as well. So have fun, guys. I hope this helps. Best of luck to you for the rest of the semester. And like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in another video. Bye, guys. Good luck.